How was it? What did you do? Did you sing
Of
Sam?
course I sang Sam. It was okay. It was okay.
I bet it was way better than okay. I'm sure.
I should have recorded it.
Yeah.
I should have
I would
recorded it.
love
It
to
was like going so
next
fast
time.
and everything.
Well, because
Yeah.
now that's your karaoke song.
It
right?
is, totally.
So
totally,
it's gonna get
so
better and
thank
better.
you. Let's keep practicing.
Yeah. I love it.
Split the bill. It's you and me.
Yeah.
Split the bill.
I'm just saying, okay, good choice. Seen the Wiggle Worm?
Yes, I
It's up there.
he asked to go.
The Wiggle Worm's not down there?
Okay.
Back there.
That room's open and like there's a sign like welcome or I think a thing above it, but there's nobody in there. It's like all the parents are back there with kids. So
But Susan's not?
where's Susan? I don't know. I'm guessing she's not here yet because Sunny's still back there with Pete. He asked to see Susan and Sunny.
Our TV got set up in there.
Throwing yourself off the playground. And then like how many times do we want to sing it?
Like 3 maybe?
Okay.
Like a minute and a song, and
Yeah.
try it once and then get it right
Cool.
once, and then next week we'll do it again.
Cool. I'll be curious how long the service lasts this week.
Me too, without Joy and Sorrows.
Yeah, it's a good experiment for us.
Yep.
No?
Good morning. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing together. This is a song that is not in your hymnal. The words are in your order of service, but they're really easy, so you'll probably need to look just once or twice and be done. Repeat after me. This is call and response, so it's even easier. You really don't need to look. It goes like this. Sing after me. Forget your perfect offering. Your turn. Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. 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 Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's beautiful. I'm going to invite you to put a beat in the bottom half of your body somehow and in the top half of your body somehow. So we're going to go bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. You can stomp, or you can just rock with the bottom, or you can really do it. Anything you want. And on the top, tap your chest, clap, snap, don't speed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting rowdy in the back there, it's okay. Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. Forget your perfect offering. Ring the bells that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. 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 Beautiful. Please be seated.
Good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Society of Germantown. My name is Shobi Canal, and in the words of Reverend Amanda Schuber, my pronouns are she, her, or anything said in love. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation seeking to support one another as we grow our souls and affirm that another world is possible. We celebrate the gift of life each week here at Sunday service, and we are so honored you joined us this morning. No matter your gender, your race, your sexual orientation, your class, family structure, employment status, or your health, know that you are welcome here, just as you are. As Unitarian Universalists, we are diverse in our spiritual beliefs. Some of us are atheists, some are agnostics, some believe in God, but all of us put love at the center of our lives. All are invited to join us in that common purpose, and for lunch after the service. For all our newcomers and visitors, please find your way to the welcome table where a lay leader can help answer questions or set you up with a name tag. Being able to greet one another by name is so vital for building community. If you came with children today, grab a child spiritual development guide from the welcome table and know that a nursery is available for infants and crawlers at the back of the sanctuary, and just down the hall through this door is the wiggle room for toddlers, staffed and full of toys. Please know that the primary way to find out about this community and what we are doing each and every week is to subscribe to our newsletter, The Communicator, which comes in your email. You can simply follow the QR code in your order of service to add your name to our distribution list. Read it each week to find out how you can plug in and help out. For our announcements today after service, UU's for Justice in the Middle East meets at 12:20 p.m. in Sullivan 1 and 2. All are welcome. Next weekend is a big one around USG. To begin on Friday, we are hosting a panel put together by Philly Parents for Palestine that features some of the biggest names in public intellectualism in this moment. The event is titled Zionism is Racism, 50 Years Since UN Resolution 3379, and features Noura Erakat, Kianga Yamata-Taylor, and Emai Gelman, moderated by Arun Kundani, with welcome by our very own Reverend Hannah. 6 to 8 p.m. this Friday in the sanctuary. Then, on Saturday at 7 p.m., we welcome Deeper Than the Skin, a musical presentation on race in America. Childcare will be available during the concert. Check your email for a trailer preview and information on buying tickets and registering for childcare. Today's flowers are from Eileen Tatey, continuing a tradition started here by Elaine Hills many years ago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Hannah Capaldi. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve this congregation as your minister with joy. I just want to put another plug in for Deeper Than the Skin next week on Saturday. It's a big deal that we managed to book Reggie and Greg to come. They're booked about a year out, so we got in touch with them about a year ago to come this upcoming weekend. And it's a really unique performance that combines storytelling and musicianship and historical learning. It's about their interracial friendship and what sort of healing and learning has come from being honest with one another and making music together. So I invite you to come on out on Saturday for that. It will be very cool. Our call to worship today. We are not perfect, only human. We cannot be anything other than this. Here together we practice imperfection, breaking things, hearts, promises, expectations, vows. We are not perfect, only human. We cannot be anything else, trying and failing all the time, breaking things and working to make amends, to mend the cracks. Fill in the gaps between what we say we are and how we actually act, building bridges, saying sorry, testing the truth of that great and mysterious love. That huge and unyielding safety net, that ocean which rocks us, holds us, grounds us, tells us to be human is all we can be, trying and failing and trying again. Rest in that love for this hour and honor all the cracks we know, all the gaps and broken places. Come, let us worship together.
We join now with Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world as we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith. Our chalice will be lit today by Lee McIntyre. Please read together in unison the words printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Your turn. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. One more time. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
This thing on? Great. I kind of hate this microphone. I feel so dorky in it. Yeah, I know. I think I gave up the dorkiness thing a long time ago. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they test it out of you in seminary. Yeah. Okay, so this week is the beginning of our children's spiritual development program. Woohoo! So we're going to do the time for all ages, me and Stearns, and then after that we're going to sing the kids out to their class. So all of the kids are going to get sung out through this hallway to the dining room where they'll meet their teachers and be escorted to their classes, and we will begin another year of learning what it means to be Unitarian Universalists together and growing up and growing deeper in our shared faith. So to get you excited about that, we're going to ask that you all come forward to receive this very important message from me and Stearns. So if there are kids here who are going to be sung to class later, come forward, come forward. We've got stuff to show you, stuff to pass around, stuff to look at up close. You're going to want to be up here. Yes, yes, gather around, children. Okay, so I invited Stearns here today for the Time for All Ages because he's going to show us a really beautiful bowl.
Well, Hannah, I was really, really excited to show you this bowl, but I was on my way here this morning and it broke.
Oh.
I know. Do you guys want to see? It's in all these little pieces. And it was really cool looking, but I don't know what to do now. I'm pretty upset. We should glue it back together?
Wait, but I didn't break it.
No, but you still can help us glue it back together, Hannah.
I mean, you mean I have to help you fix it, even though I didn't break it? Stearns, I need you to understand, I'm a good person. A dorky, but good person. I just don't go around breaking other people's bowls. It wasn't me.
I know, Hannah, I believe you, but it's important to me that we figure out how to fix this bowl together because it means a lot to me.
Okay, fine. Do you all have some ideas about how we might fix this bowl? How could we mend the bowl, Ash? Okay, Justice says get a new bowl. Yes? Ash, what do you think?
I don't have an idea how to fix the bowl, but I'm just going to make an accusation.
Okay.
What? Whoa!
Okay, so pointing fingers. Pointing fingers is one thing. Yeah, you could transfer the blame. That still doesn't really get us to a whole bowl. Oh, Yuri? Okay, we could glue it. Oh, we could make a collage out of it.
Love that idea.
Okay, Yuri, I think you've done a lot of child spiritual development already, because you're a little ahead of the game here. Good job, Yuri. Oh, go ahead, Roman.
Sometimes you put your fake plants in rocks or ceramic pieces.
Okay, we could repurpose them in some way. Okay, I like it. Okay.
I did have one other idea, though, so that we could still use it as a bowl.
Oh, what's your idea?
So, well, there's this thing called kintsugi.
Kintsugi.
It's an ancient Japanese art, and the word together, the word kin in Japanese is gold, and tsugi is joinery, so it's putting things together with gold. And it's when you put the gold together, put the bowl back together, but you glue it with gold. And so everyone can tell that the bowl is now stronger because it's held together with gold. Does that make sense?
Wait, is it like this?
Oh my gosh, it's exactly like that.
Do you guys want to
Wow.
see how this bowl was mended with kintsugi? You want to pass it around? There's gold in all of the cracks. You can touch it, honey. Pass it around. Actual real gold. You can pass it around. You can touch it. You can run your hand along the seams where all the gold is. So wait, what I'm learning here, Stearns, is that the point of kintsugi isn't to hide the broken parts?
That's exactly right. It's to highlight them. It's to say, look, this is even more beautiful. It has a different beauty because it was once broken.
I mean, in a way, that's kind of what happens with other things when they break, right?
Like what kind of things, Reverend Hannah?
Like relationships or friendships. Like sometimes we hurt each other's feelings, and it's like the thread between the two of us or more, it breaks. But as you use, we don't ignore that it's broken. We try and rebuild it, fill in the cracks with something beautiful so that it's stronger than it was before.
You know what? I agree.
Wow.
The work of healing is all of our jobs.
Okay.
Yep, silver works too. When we repair our mistakes with love and with our covenant, we remember that our relationships are more beautiful once we have acknowledged hurt, asked for forgiveness, corrected our mistakes, and made a sacred promise to do better in the future.
So, as part of your work today, when you go to CSD, as you begin a new year of spiritual development, you're going to create covenants together. You're going to talk about how you want to be together in the classroom, agreements about how the year is going to go. And we're also going to talk about that here today in worship. So we'll sing you out to class now with Go Now in Peace, which all of you should be intimately familiar with at this point. And I want to wish you the most blessed of years in spiritual development, childhood spiritual development. Let's sing our kids to class.
On vacation in Los Angeles in 2017, my teenage daughter and I went to see a play in LA's Little Tokyo neighborhood. The play was set during World War II, when the US government imprisoned Japanese Americans in concentration camps. Afterwards, we left the theater, made a wrong turn, and suddenly found ourselves walking alone on dark, nearly deserted streets with sidewalks lined with tents in which many people were living. We pressed on before I realized we were completely lost, with no sense which direction led back to our parking garage. I panicked, and I felt like a terrible parent for getting us lost in a scary place at night, far from home. A bit later, a man's voice some ways behind us called out, "Where are you going, ladies?" Had I been in a more grounded state, I'd have been able to register that he sounded not threatening, but genuinely puzzled to see us there, two fish very obviously out of water. Had I been willing to turn around, turn toward him, and ask for directions, he may well have obliged. But in my panic, I could think of nothing but escaping the dark streets and the tense city and getting back to our car. As I hurried us on, I heard him call, "Are you afraid of me?" We eventually found our way, but I think often of that night. After watching a play about bigotry, I proceeded to treat all these tent-dwelling people whom our capitalist practices have priced out of safe and sturdy shelter as completely other than myself. The man who called to us was Black. I look white, and our whole tragic national history shaped that moment between us. Where did my lofty UU values go? It's humbling to recognize how latent prejudices can ambush me in moments of fear and doubt. I cannot make amends to the unknown fellow human I snubbed in LA. Instead, I use such memories as reminders to practice greater awareness and greater love in my relationships with others, whether strangers or friends. Thank you. This week, we share our plate with the Jewish Relief Agency. Nominated by Sarah Hertz, the Jewish Relief Agency serves over 6,000 low-income people of various backgrounds, ages, and abilities in the greater Philadelphia area and southern New Jersey. JRA volunteers make monthly deliveries of free, nutritious food and essential household supplies directly to clients where they live. Please give generously, as we have found that the more we give away, the more abundance comes our way.
I'm like one of those Japanese bowls that were made long ago. I have some cracks in me. They have been filled with gold. That's what they used back then when they had a bowl to mend. It did not hide the cracks, it made them shine instead. So now every old scar shows from every time I broke, and anyone's eyes can see I'm not what I used to be. But in a collector's mind, all of these jagged lines make me more beautiful and worth a much higher price. I'm like one of those Japanese bowls. I was made long ago. I have some cracks you can see how they shine of gold. See how they shine, see how they shine. They shine of gold.
invite you into a posture of prayer or meditation. Let the peace of this place and this time come into your body. Make yourself comfortable. Let your shoulders come down and your jaw loosen. Breathe deeply, filling your lungs. Exhale fully. Make space for the quiet in you. Let us pray. Holy and beautiful, into the mystery we give our sorrows and our fears. Into this community, an ever-opening well of witness and hope, we come. This week, and every week in recent weeks, it has been harder to believe what we say we believe. Harder to think anything could be as loving as all loving. Harder to hope that there won't be punishment. Just some justice. It's been hard to feel our hearts hardening or strengthening or not knowing the difference, if there is a difference. This week and every week in recent weeks, our breathing has quickened. Our breath has shallowed with fear and anger, but also, and sometimes, there were joys. A quick inhale for new births and more birthdays, waking up healthy, dry, sunny days. Someone wrote to me this week to say that they are falling in love, so people are still falling in love. Holy and beautiful, this is the mystery into which we come, trembling with fear, teaching the children how to write in planners, enraged by what has been said, by what has been sanitized. May we be stitched into the seam of this world so that we do not let it go. Let us feel our holy righteousness of clarity, if only to push out more room, more good, more love into this life, even when we are not sure we believe it is possible. Into this community we lay down our deepest laments. May we rise with the reminder that even this agony, this wish for it to be otherwise is, for this day, love enough. So join me, please, in receiving Jan Richardson's blessing for the breathing. I'm going to ask you to inhale as I bless your breath. That the first breath, inhale, will come without fear, exhale. That the second breath will come without pain. That the third breath, that it will come without despair. And the fourth, inhale, without anxiety, exhale. That the fifth breath will come with no bitterness. That the sixth breath will come for joy. Breath 7, that it will come for love, exhale. May the 8th breath come for freedom, and the 9th for delight. When the 10th breath comes, may it be for us to breathe together, and the next, until our breathing is as one, until our breathing is no more. Friends, there is so much more to lay down. For now, let us sing our continued prayer. Please join me in singing hymn number 101, Abide With Me, in your gray hymnal. You may remain seated, and after we finish, we will share in a moment of silence.
A Covenant Invites Relationship by Lisa Ward. A covenant is not a definition of a relationship. It is the framework for our relating. A covenant leaves room for chance and change. It is humble toward evolution. It claims, I will abide with you in this common endeavor, be present as best I can in our becoming. This calls for a level of trust, courage, and sacrifice that needs to be nurtured, renewed, and affirmed on a regular basis. A creed invites a static truth, something that does not incorporate new insights and realities. A covenant is a dance of co-creation, keeping in step with one another in the flow of our lives. A creed seeks uniformity and a unison voice. A covenant seeks harmony and a shared voice. Sometimes we may arrive at a unison, but it is not required. A creed gives authority to the statement. A covenant gives authority to shared intention. A creed creates an us and them. A covenant invites relationship. A creed is a prescription that must be relied on. A covenant relies on the treasures of shared truth. The overall trust within this covenant is in the truth, capital T, something which no one person, can fully see, yet something which each and every person can come to know in glimpses, in another's story, in epiphanies. Truth is ever-changing in our seeking to understand because of our limited perspectives. We grow into a deeper sense of the meaning of all things when we take our journeys seriously, with full heart and mind. The courage within this covenant is in the acceptance and celebration of life, with all its challenges, pain, ironies, and joys. And the sacrifice within this covenant is in the letting go of dogma, of assumptions, of control, and giving over to a greater wisdom which comes to us in bits and pieces. The task of this covenant is to take responsibility for the freedom we espouse. We know that we are interconnected and that what we do creates ripples of hope or despair, of affirmation or negation. What we do with and for one another is powerful and beyond our imagining.
I want to invite you to think about the first contract you ever signed. Maybe it was the lease to your first apartment, maybe it was for a gig, whatever that means in your professional life. Maybe it was a folded up note passed to you in elementary school with the words, "Will you go out with me? Circle yes or no." Circling yes or no, putting it in print, makes it official. Now it's done. You either sign the contract or you don't. Did you agree to this? You either did or didn't. Same with those annoying terms and conditions that pop up when you update software and whatever accept all cookies means. Accept or decline, yes or no, in agreement or out of agreement. And of course, in this big, wide world, there are different ways we augment or intensify those agreements: signatures, seals, certified mail, spoken oaths, blood oaths, the pinky swear. But of course, not everything can be written down. We're humans. There are certain agreements that require more than a contract. When I leave my child with a babysitter, there are certain agreements I make with the sitter: bedtime, bath time, meals, TV. But beyond the assignment of tasks, there is an enormous element of risk involved. I'm putting my most precious human literally into someone's arms and walking away to go have a good time. Being able to do that requires more than a contract. It requires trust. And with trust, there's personal investment involved, humility. In order to trust, you have to have something to lose. You have to admit, there's no guarantee that this will work, but I believe that it can. That investment, that faith, is the beginning of covenant. Covenant is agreement and trust made sacred. The combination of a strong, staunch, solid agreement plus profound trust existing in divine symbiosis, deep commitment, and deep intention. Unitarian Universalism cares a lot about the concept of covenant. I have heard the phrase, "ours is a covenantal faith," so many times. And it's true, this whole thing we're doing here is rooted in a solemn commitment to uphold our shared values of justice, equity, interdependence, generosity, pluralism, transformation, and love in our relationships with one another and in our wider world. Ours is a covenantal faith, not a creedal one, not rooted in dogma, but in shared promises to one another. Well, USG is a covenantal community too, not rooted in shared belief, but shared behavior. We promise here to treat one another a certain way, to acknowledge each person's inherent worth and dignity, and that we're safe from one another. We are in this boat together. I believe you. I promise. Covenant takes agreement and trust to make it holy. Now that USG covenant is a huge covenant, but like most things that are natural, covenants come in all sizes. Covenant is being in safe, trustful, agreed-upon relationship at any level. Friendship, parenthood, marriage, divorce, clerical vows, workplace values, activism, mentorship, education. The list goes on. The number of humans involved and the actual commitments vary wildly, but the common thread is the strength of the relationship, the depth of the promise. This depth, this weight, transforms a social agreement into a spiritual practice. Being able to trust in this way roots us in something larger: truth, love, spirit, the interdependent web of life. I joined the Philadelphia Gay Men's Chorus a few weeks ago. I'm already having a wonderful time, and a huge part of why is how unbelievably kind everyone there has been. They give UUs a run for their money in the radically welcoming category. For real. I can't take 3 steps at a rehearsal without someone introducing themselves, welcoming me to the chorus, telling me what a difference it's made in their lives, that it's the best community they've ever belonged to. And just when I started to think this room is strangely filled with eerily extroverted people, I realized it's not because everyone there is this gregarious, outgoing person. It's because this is a covenantal community. This organization, this group of humans works because of the ways they agree to treat each other. I found myself welcomed in, enveloped into covenant with these regular folks, strangers, who agree to be in divine partnership with each other. As a new member of the chorus, I was assigned to what the organization calls a chosen family, a small group of 3 new members and 1 member who's been around a couple years, and the parent can answer questions for the new folks and help orient them. I think it's kind of hilarious that they call it chosen family because it's assigned. So I've been calling it my chosen for me family. Well, when I met my chosen for me family at the end of rehearsal this week, I was unshocked to find that my chosen for me parent was as gregarious and radically welcoming as everyone else has been. I found myself again being welcomed in, folded right into a covenant that was waiting for me to co-create it with this other small group of humans within this larger group of covenanted humans. Covenant is agreement and trust made sacred. What are the relationships of sacred depth in your life? What are the agreements you've made, be they spoken or unspoken, be they codified by ritual or continually proven and strengthened by action? Be they between you and one person, 2, 10, thousands. What covenants need your attention? Which ones need rewriting? Where could you spark the fire of a new sacred relationship? And how will you continue to live into these covenants so that they can live in you? What promises will you make sacred today?
Not every music director can preach like that. I feel lucky. I feel very lucky. The first lesson we learned at the sailing dock at summer camp was how to capsize. Before we learned knots, before we learned the parts of the boat, the first thing we were taught was how to capsize. The whole concept of facing the worst possible outcome right off the bat seemed terrifying to me. I thought a skilled sailor was one who never capsized. Wouldn't you start with the building blocks of staying in the boat rather than what happens when you go out? Okay, so here's what you're going to do when you go over. A revelation. There's protocol here. Rules of engagement with yourself and the water when the worst thing happens. For some reason, I figured we were just tossed from the boat and left to our own devices to figure it out. But in fact, there's a correct way to capsize. What was required of us wasn't an easy task, to right your vessel as the waves slapped your face, your life jacket, making you an ungainly and uncoordinated swimmer, but it could be done. First, you had to remain calm and get some space from the boat. You needed to confer with your mates who was going to do what, who was going to play each role, but it could be done. And the mess could be cleaned up by remembering together we could follow protocol and right the ship. The most crucial role involved standing on the keel. Any sailors in the crowd? Okay, a few here. So on the underside of most sailboats runs a keel, a long and narrow fin that provides stability and resistance to the push and pull of the boat's movements. You can't see it most of the time when the boat passes you, but it reaches down deep below the surface of the water. But righting the boat when it has tipped involves standing on the keel, that stabilizing force, that unseen but essential part of the boat, standing on it, providing counterweight as you slowly tip the boat back into position, upright once again. I tell you this story because for me, this is what covenant is. It is the sturdy and essential part that helps us steer and helps us right ourselves when we inevitably fail, inevitably go over the gunnels and into the drink. In Unitarian Universalism, we are bound by covenant, an agreement we make about the rules of engagement, a voluntary commitment to being with one another in a way that embodies our faith and acknowledges our humanness. We write covenants in all our CSD classrooms with our kids. We have a board covenant. We have a congregational covenant. I challenge you to find it on the website. It needs updating and revisioning, hence the timeliness of this service. Covenanting is a theological pillar of Unitarian Universalism. The choice to practice relationship and collectively reach for a better way to be. When we break covenant, when we fall out of covenant, when we do the human thing we all do when trying to live into our values, trying to know each other and be known, We are not left to our own devices, just chaotically flapping about in the water. We have protocol. Take some space. Confer with your mates. Acknowledge the situation you're in and find the keel, the stabilizing covenantal force which says we are all trying to be together in this mess of a thing we call life, and I have erred, and you have erred, and let's repair and right the ship. Because to live in relation, to know one another in the way that congregational community requires, the way we are trying to do here, it means you will inevitably cause harm. You will inevitably find yourself wrestling with intent versus impact. You may be called out, and you may be called in. But the most important thing to remember is that covenant is there to hold you, to hold others, and to help us return to the ship we are meant to sail, that we chose to sail. For years, I stayed away from the sailing dock. I didn't want to practice capsizing. I was terrified of standing on the keel. I was scared of doing the thing my body said not to do, stay in the boat. That was my very first, very human assumption. That one that's baked into all of us, that we have to all wrestle with as a spiritual practice, to associate capsizing with failure. To assume that to go over meant that you were not good at sailing, rather than the real truth that even the most experienced sailors, the ones that find the biggest wind, the fastest line, they go in. Their boats tip. That to risk sailing well is to risk capsizing. And sailing well is life-giving. The feeling of using nothing more than the wind and some rope and some fabric to propel yourself forward through the magnificent water, the sun on your face, close to nature or God, your senses alight. To sail well is to live well. And I was willing to forgo that sensation just to preserve the idea that failing was bad, capsizing too scary, that I would never be the kind of sailor who went over. I still struggle with this. The gut-churning realization that I have done something to hurt someone else, that my speech or my actions or my inactions have caused another to feel a violation. It feels like failure. But what my faith has taught me, what Unitarian Universalism teaches us, is that to fail is to be human, and we are nothing if not human. We are only human. It is all we can be. And we can try and try to be the best humans we can, but to be human is to err. It is to fail. It is to capsize, because to live close to the wind, to live close to others, to know and be known requires risking things of ourselves. Requires understanding that the rules of engagement are there to hold us through the messy work of relationship, of community life, of trying to get that auction off the ground, of trying to get a good turnout at the Deeper Than the Skin concert, at trying to nail down meals for our guests, at trying to share the load of kitchen cleanups, at trying to find a friend in fellowship hour or share bravely in small group ministry, at telling someone they have let you down, betrayed your trust, fallen short of our shared agreement to treat one another with respect and dignity. We are all destined to capsize. The best and most experienced sailors do. But we needn't thrash about and drown when it happens. Merely return to the knowledge that there is protocol here. There's established steps and best practices to right the ship and keep going. because we must keep going, friends. Through the moment of complete overwhelm at hurt or shame or guilt at being discovered and called out and called in as imperfect as human, we must keep going through all of that to return to each other. Though we have broken our vows 1,000 times, we return again to abide with each other, to learn from each other, to love one another in a way that Unitarian Universalism demands. Fully and completely human. The covenant is there to hold us down, a ballast weight, which tells us we were meant to sail. May it be so, and amen.
Will you rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1028 in your teal hymnal, The Fire of Commitment.
As we extinguish our chalice, please join me in unison with the words printed in your order of service. We extinguish our chalice, but the flame remains in us as we live into the mission of this congregation, building beloved community with compassion, service, and empowerment.
I missed leading worship with all of you. My heart feels so full this morning. It is so good to be here. And I'm excited to eat some lunch with all of you. Go forth this Sunday knowing that there is a sacred trust between us. That we live into each day, we recommit to being how we want to be, making the world anew with our actions and our speech and our hearts. Know that failure is inevitable, but trying is the holy part. And there is nothing you can do but be human. May it be so, and amen.